Welcome to Environmental Science or Environmental 1111. I am your instructor, Professor Jenny Kettler, and I'm just giving you this quick video to kind of walk you through the things in the course and how to access everything. So we are currently on the home page right now, and there's not much going on just because it's the beginning of the semester. So the first thing is, and I know it hasn't popped up, but whenever you first log into the class, there will be a pop-up that comes up asking you to order your lab kit to put your address in. Now you have already paid for the lab kit, so you shouldn't have to pay for anything, but you do have to enable pop-ups uh, on your internet. Otherwise, the screen won't pop up or it'll block it. So you want to have pop-ups enabled for your web browser. So that's the vitally important thing that you have to do first is order your lab kit. Okay, so if you go into content and the welcome and start here page, this kind of gives you, like your day one to-do list, which includes looking at the syllabus and the schedule, looking at the course announcements, which is what we were just on, and then going into making sure that you have your D2L messenger set up, because that's how we can email each other. And then if you go back to the welcome page, and we go to syllabus and schedule. So it's vitally important that you either print this out or keep this handy. This is all of your due dates, the things that you're going to be completing in each module. The important thing to also remember is that late work is not accepted in this course. So these are hard due dates. The discussions are a little different because you technically have like two due dates. You have the initial post that is due, and that's the one that I have listed. And then you're supposed to be completing 3 peer replies total on different days of the discussion. So like you're showing participation throughout the discussion week, and then the discussion closes. And so that's what that second date is. That is not the day that you should complete all your peer replies on. That's the day the discussion closes. Okay, you should be completing, peer replies on different days throughout the discussion. Okay. So the other thing to also keep in mind is everything is graded. So your discussions, they are worth 30 points each. Your reading assignments are worth 20 points each. And we're going to get to that in just a second. Your labs are 30 points each. And then any application-based activities are 15 points each. So all readings, all lessons, they're all worth points towards your total grade. If we look back at the syllabus page, and if you want to see how that kind of comes about, you can click on grading and evaluation. And so this tells you how much everything is worth and the total points and what you need to earn to get a certain grade. So going back to here, you do have to log into Connect in order to do your reading assignments. If you have trouble with anything, you can always go to D2L support. There's also the help desk right here, 24/7 help desk. If you look at your lab manual and information, there's some FAQs here that is really helpful. So if we click on that, you already paid for it. How do you receive it? So there's going to be, like I said, there's going to be a pop-up form. And then, but if that doesn't pop up, right? So if you have any pop-up blockers enabled or you don't see it, you can still use the lab kit order form. So that widget is on the home page all the way at the bottom right here. Okay, so you can go right there. That's only if it doesn't pop up. It should pop up. The pop-up should be there. Okay, so going back into the content, um, this watching these videos is really helpful as well because it's going to show you looking at the information or the things that should be in the lab kit. And then going into like a typical module, so this is module 1, you will have readings to complete. They are graded. So if we just click on this one, it's probably not going to let me log. Yeah, because they don't let me go in as a student. So let me just go ahead and log out and go through as an instructor. So yeah, so when I click on that, what should happen is it should prompt you to create an account. And then once you have created an account, it should take you straight to that, to that reading. And then the other thing that I want to show you guys is the application-based activities. These are also in Connect. So whenever you go in to them, like I said, it should link you directly to it. And this is my, like I said, this is my teacher account. So it's yours is going to look a little bit different. I was just going to see if I could try to show you guys the actual, like what the assignment looks like. Yeah, here we go. So if we look at these application-based activities, they are scored, and you basically just kind of roll through, you pick your person that you want to be, and you just hit play. And everything's going to look different just depending on which activity you're doing, but you're basically just kind of following the instructions listed here. And as you go along, it's going to ask you questions and score you with those questions. So if you look up here, right, like you haven't done anything so far. I'm just trying to get to the first question. Okay, so I'm gonna mark it wrong on purpose. So you see here, right, like you saw the score went down because I didn't get the question right. So it'll ask you to try again. And then once you get the correct answer, the score will go up, and then you keep going, right? So even if you get both of them wrong, see? So don't stop. Make sure that you go all the way through. I don't think it saves your progress if you leave in the middle of it. So make sure you have plenty of time to complete the application-based activities whenever you do them. But that's just kind of giving you an overview of how that works. And so, yeah, so in most modules, you're going to have discussions, you're going to have readings, and then you're going to have these application-based activities, and then you're going to have labs that you do with the lab kit. So the first 2 labs, so like the labs in the scientific method lab, and then this carbon footprint lab in module 2, they do not need a lab kit. So you can do them without the lab kit, and that gives you time for your lab kit to arrive. The lab that you start using a kit for is going to be this renewable solar energy. So you'll see that for the labs, there's 2 documents. You have the PDF document. This is going to give you the background in the lab, the materials that you need, the instructions for how to do the lab is listed in here. And then that second page is going to be the assignment itself. So this just kind of gives you the overview of it, the supplies you need, the instructions, and then you will have your lab report link that will download to your device, and you will open it, and then you can edit it, and this is what you're going to edit and submit through the sorry about that, going to assignments, right? So let's say you did your your research in scientific method. right? So there would be an option here for you to submit. Um, so that's how you do that. Let's see, am I left anything out? Grades. If you, let me view it as a student because this is different. Yeah, okay, so now let me do the assignments tab. So yeah, so this will tell you, everything that you need, the photo requirement. So all labs, you do have to insert photos in them. And then there's rubrics that tell you, how you're going to be scored. And so yeah, so you would just add that file and hit submit to upload your lab paper. And then as far as grades are concerned, you can see right here, whenever you click on the grades button, it's broken down by module, how much points everything is worth. If I leave you any kind of comments, it'll be right here. It's typically like a square button. And then finally, if you do need to get in contact with me, you can go to the class list and find my name and hit send internal message and then type up the email and it will email me. This is the only way to email me. You cannot use like a Gmail or a Yahoo or any other account. You have to do it through D2L. In fact, if you even try to send me anything through a Gmail account or an outside account, I don't even get notified. It doesn't tell me anything about that. And so it's just missing. And so students tend to get a little upset because they're like, oh, I've been emailing you and I'm not even getting it. And it's because it's coming from an outside email. So make sure that you use the D2L email to get in touch with me. Final thing, the announcements. This is where I'm going to post any kind of helpful information that you need, extra resources, if there's any kind of course updates that have to happen because like the lab kits didn't show up on time or anything like that. This is where you can review that information. Other than that, I look forward to working with all of you, and I will see you later.